Hey, this is Dr. Nina. I am a clinical psychologist and a master mindset and peak performance coach. I want to talk today about thinking about your thinking. Cognitive theory states that the way we think impacts the way that we feel and the way that we act, and even impacts like our physiological well-being, all from the way we perceive something. So for example, if like let's say when you were in school, if you walk past a group of kids and they laugh while you're walking past them, you could think, well, they were talking about me. And so that thought then brings emotions of like embarrassment, maybe even anger. And the action that comes from that, if you were embarrassed, maybe you go to the class and you sit in the back. You don't want to be seen, so you're withdrawn. But it's all stemming from that thought. You could have the same event. You could walk past and maybe someone else perceives it as, oh, must have been something funny, when they walked past them as they laughed and didn't think anything of it, right? Same situation, perceived two different ways, all from your thoughts. How do we kind of make sure our thoughts are in a resourceful state? Is it a thought that's helping you? Is it a thought that's not so helpful for you, that's kind of hurting you, which is unresourceful? How do you discipline your mind to not replay and rehearse unhelpful thinking patterns? And so one of the things to do that is to have a lot of discipline in thinking about your thinking. So a lot of times we go through our day without really questioning what we're telling ourselves, like the message that you're giving to yourself. For example, like you're in business and you're having, some rough days, so you're having a lot of doubt. Can't do it. You're going to fail. You don't have what it takes. You should just quit. Or if it was heartbreak, or whatever internal dialogue you are playing over and over and over in your brain. If it was someone else telling you that, you would be on guard about that. But the more you tell it to yourself, we don't really question that. We don't question, is that true? Should I even believe what I just said to myself? We don't have that guard, that discipline to kind of look and say, should I be receiving that? Should I take that on? We just accept it to be true. We have to get disciplined to put our thinking in check. And don't let your thinking check you, but rather pay attention, think about your thinking, and then ask yourself, is this helpful or is this hurtful? If it's not helpful and it's hurtful, then you want to kind of push that away, reject that thought. Don't take everything on to be true. So step one of this really, as far as building a better growth mindset, is to be aware of where you are in your thinking, right? In your thought journey, and to think about your thinking. So over the next, week, I would encourage you to really pay attention to what you tell yourself. What record is playing in your head the most? The loop that is going on. Is it a negative loop, right? Like, are you kind of playing blues? Like a lot of things going wrong. Woe is me. Nothing's right, heartbreak, just kind of really focused on the glass half empty type of approach. Is that the record that's playing in your head all the time? And if it is, then guess what? If that's what's looping in your head all the time, guess what emotions are going to come out of that? And guess what actions are going to come out of that? So really pay attention to what makes you tick, what makes you sad, what makes you angry, what makes you withdrawn, what makes you give up. What are those kind of triggers that lead to that? And what are the things that really get you going, get you fired, get you determined, get you motivated, and the thoughts around that? Over the next week, kind of track those and then see, which one plays more. Is it more resourceful or unresourceful, helpful or hurtful? Same thing. And if you don't really like that, if it's a little more negative than you thought, and for most, it's way more than they think. Even subtle things like just little doubt here and there through the day that starts to build, whatever the situation, see how it trickles out into emotions and actions from those thoughts. And if you don't like that, then let's talk some more, and I'll be dropping gems and dropping tips and stuff as we go, and I'll be giving more practical things. But step one is self-awareness, to think about your thinking. Because if you don't catch that, then everything else I give you on top of this is going to be hard to do. So we want to gain an awareness first.